Welcome back to another Hammer Fantasy Battle Report, and today it's my Orcs and Goblins versus CJ's Vampire Accounts. I went to the Facebook page on Dice Dojo and threw out a challenge, and CJ responded. And this is a new entry in my videos here that you've never seen this Vampire Account army before. He plays it slightly different compared to other people I've played against that usually play Vampire Accounts. And here we go. Here's his army list. He has a unit of zombies right there, and it's looks like 20 zombies more or less. In front of the zombies he has two wraiths and a banshee making up a unit, and then he has 5 dire wolves, and he also has 24 graveguard right there. Right here is the major problem. He has 77 skeletons in one unit. That is a huge unit. They have spears, and then there's one slot right in the front that is for his general. His general is going to be a level 4 necromancer. And then he has a mortis engine as well as a corpse cart right behind it. And then there's his general right there with the little yellow cape. Over on this side he has 5 hex wraiths, and then on the opposite side he has 5 more hex wraiths with another unit of like 30 more zombies, and that unit of zombies also gets a level 4 necromancer buddy. Basically between both his level 4s he has every spell. They kind of split them up in between there, and then they both get invocation and a heck. As for my Orcs and Goblins, my spells basically, I got Foot of Gork, Brainbuster, Gaze of Morka. I want to say that's Hand of Gork, but it could be something else. And then the 2 white cards are actually my level 2 Goblin Shaman that's taking the Lore of Undeath. He got the Dark Riders as well as Gravecall. We're going to go ahead and start off the Vanguard first. His Vanguard, he moves up his Hex Wraiths. I move up one of my Wolf Riders here to kind of chaff up the Hex Wraiths from coming in. And then he moves up these Hex Wraiths over here, and I move my Goblin Shaman on a Wolf all the way down the board side over there. And he goes ahead and moves up his Dire Wolves here and right up the center. And we're going to go ahead and start actually Orcs and Goblins turn 1. I will go over my list as we go along so you can kind of get a idea what I'm bringing to the table. Right here we have Gorbad and the Boar Boys. Boar Boy Biggins. They have the Flaming Banner because I figured he might have some stuff that needed to be burned. First turn right here, I failed Animosity with Gorbad. Are you serious? He's force charging, but he can't because I shoved him in between all these units. Because if you've watched my last few battle reports, at least the last 5 I've done, Gorbad always fails the first turn Animosity, so I wasn't prepared for it this time. Oh man. Over here I got 20 Night Goblins with bows. They failed Animosity as well, and they are going to go ahead and like face the closest target and try to charge, which would be, I believe, the Hex Wraiths. And then right here you get a full view of what I got. I got up in the corner there, the Mangler moving up. I got 3 Trolls right in the middle moving up. I got a unit of Savages moving up. I got my 2 Doom Divers in the back. I have my Ragnarok Spider close to the forest, and I have another 20 Archers with short bows and Fanatics inside them. And then I have the 3 Goblin Heroes. 2 of them are regular heroes, and 1 of them is a Shaman. The 2 heroes have great weapons. So as you can see, everybody moved up. Magic phase, I got 4 Power Dice, which is pathetic. I mean, really pathetic. And I'm going to go ahead and use 1 on Brainbuster on the dogs, and it shoots and kills 1 dog. I was hoping I have like a Magic Missile. No, I don't have Magic Missile. What am I thinking? I'm Orcs and Goblins. I got like the Foot of Gork, but I should have just thrown the 4 on the foot on those guys. But then I went ahead and used the rest of my dice onto Gravecall over here with my Goblin Shaman. The Goblin Shaman just started running behind his lines here, and he dispelled my Gravecall, so nothing happened. I'm going to go to shooting phase here. Shooting phase, I shot both shots actually at the Mortis Engine. 1 drifted off and did nothing, and the other one didn't even hit. Actually, I think it hit, but it didn't wound, and that kind of sucked. So that was basically it for my turn. I had nothing else that could shoot and nothing else in close combat. We're going to go into Vampires turn 1. Vampire turn 1, the Hex Wraiths are going to go ahead and charge into my unit of Night Goblins who failed their charge. And then these Hex Wraiths are going to go ahead and charge into my Wolf Rider, and my Wolf Rider decides to flee. He flees right through that unit of Night Goblins with bows, but Gorbad's close enough where they're all getting his leadership. So those guys just kind of stumble forward. Major issue here is I didn't bring a magic weapon. If one of those wolf boys had a magic weapon, they would take out that unit of hex rays pretty easily. And I learned from my mistake pretty fast. So his hex rates over here try to charge, and they fail their charge, and they just kind of stumble forward. And then, of course, the inevitable happens. He throws his dire wolves right into my Mangler Squig. It blows up the Mangler Squig. They kill the Mangler Squig. Probably got like 10 wounds off. There's no dogs there anymore, but there's no Mangler there anymore, which is kind of sad because I was really hoping he would aid some skeletons. And then over here, he just kind of moved up everybody else. The Wraiths and the Banshee move up in range to scream at the Trolls, and everybody else kind of stumbled in. Magic Phase, he gets 8 power dice, which is pretty nice. It's a little bit above average, which I wish I could get something like that, but no, I rolled like 3s and 4s. And then his level 4 that's in the back over there, he goes ahead and he does Gaze of Nagash right onto my Goblin hero over here, and it goes through. It actually hits him for 1 wound, and this guy has the Armor of Destiny, which is like it basically Armor of Destiny shields, and Wolf gives him a 3-up armor save, and then he has a 4-up ward save, which is pretty freaking beefy for a Wolf Rider, but whatever, I like the guy. Anyways, he goes ahead and throws the rest of or a couple more dice onto Curse of the Years, and he gets an irresistible force, and he does it onto this unit of goblins over here. It kills off like 3 goblins right at the as soon as it goes off. And of course he's going to go ahead and take the explosion. He gets the small template explosion, and it kills off like 4 zombies, which is nothing. Going into shooting phase, his Banshee's going to go ahead and nag at one of my trolls, and it does 1 wound onto the trolls because he got a really low roll, which is pretty lucky for me. And that's about it. We're going to go into Orcs and Goblins turn 2 now. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I look at the charge arc of the Wraiths here, and I'm thinking, oh shit, they have Ethereal. They're going to go ahead and chaff up my my Ragnarok, and I can't even do anything about it because the Ragnarok has no magic weapons or anything like that. So I decide to move him out of the charge arc. Over here, my Wolf Boy with the Armor of Destiny, he goes ahead and does a long charge right into that unit of zombies. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and kill that Necromancer, and just hopefully take out their magic power on this side. And he actually connects. He gets right in. I go right for that Necromancer level 4 right in the front. And as you can see right here, this is how I move my Ragnarok out of the charge arc of the Wraiths, thinking I'm clever, haha. Over here, I'm going to keep moving my Goblin Shaman over to the rear to cast some spells and get him closer. Magic Phase, well, basically everybody else just kind of moved up for the record, but Magic Phase I got 8 power dice, and I think I went for the foot, it failed, and then I totally forgot to just take off Curse of Years. I should have just dispelled it with my 8 power dice. I'm thinking offensively, not defensively, and the Curse of Years just took out another 5 Night Goblins. At this point, I'm thinking like, whatever, it's only Night Goblins. And basically he shut down my Magic Phase hard. I tried to do a couple spells, and he just, nope. He has 2 level 4s. So I'm going to go into Shooting Phase next. Shooting Phase, I go ahead and shoot both Doom Divers right in the tip of the corpse cart, because that way if they drift, it'll drift somewhere close by, hopefully, and kill something. First one gets a direct hit and takes it to 3 wounds. Second one actually drifts off, and it kills off a couple of the, like 2 skeletons right next to him. As for this combat over here, my Goblin hero whiffed. I mean, whiffed really bad. I mean, he only needed like 3s to hit, and he whiffed. He just totally missed the guy. And I concentrated all my attacks onto him. So I mean, like, this guy had all the zombies whiff, I think, and basically just by ranks alone, he won combat resolution. I mean, I charged, and that was it, but I didn't do any damage. So, sure enough, he's gonna go ahead and chase me, and he catches me. I did not get a good roll on my, even though I'm Swift Stride, I totally didn't get a good roll on that, and he just caught me and killed my Goblin hero. What the fuck? Ah, man. Vampire counts turn 2. We're going to start off with this charge here. He sees this opportunity to overrun and just like go ahead and just get those goblins with his zombies. So he goes ahead and charges in there, and then his hex rates over here charge into my Fanatics or not my fanatics, my night goblins over here. I'm gonna go ahead and release the fanatics, and they go through those hex rates, and they just blow up when the hex rates touch them, and it does absolutely nothing. And he was like, well, is that how they're supposed to work? I was like, you know what? If I don't throw them into the hex rates and blow up like that, I'm just going to throw them into that tree right next to me, because I don't want these fanatics just running around my backside with your ethereal units just not being able to get hit by them. So he's like, alright. Over here, since he charged in with his zombies, the fanatics go ahead and go through, and one fanatic actually hits, connects, and goes through. The other two fanatics stop short, and the zombies still have to charge right through both fanatics. So after they charged through both sets of fanatics, they killed off like 19 zombies. It was crazy. I was like, what the hell? It left only their necromancer alive, and I'm thinking, oh man, I got these guys easy. Once we start combat, right? Over here is hex rates charged into my Arachnarok spider, and this is like the beginning of the end for me. I'm like, ah, shit, I can't. I have no ranks, I have no banner, I have nothing to give combat resolution to them. He's gonna wound me maybe once or twice. I mean, he's only a strength 5 with these guys, but so that means he'll need like a 5 up to hit or to wound. But it's a pain in the ass. It means my spider, my biggest weapon right now, is going to be stuck in combat with some 150 point hex rates. Over here, his Banshee and his Wraiths charge into my Trolls, and this causes another issue because, again, there's no magic weapons there. I have the level 4 right there, and I believe I try to have the level 4 shoot them with a Brainbuster or a Gaze, and that's what he dispelled most likely, and then I try to foot, and then he dispelled that as well. And then his Black Knights over here, or Graveguard, I'm sorry, not Black Knights, his Graveguard go into the church right there, and they're hiding out inside the church. And then, as you can see, his rest of his units just kind of reformed and moved over just a little bit, and they're ready for what's going to happen next. Magic Phase, he gets 8 power dice again, and again, it's above average, and I'm just thinking, what the hell, how does he get better averages than me? He goes ahead and throws a couple onto Raise Dead, and I'm over here worried about his like Curse of Years and his other big spells, so I'm like, go ahead, throw up some zombies. He throws up 13 zombies right there, and I'm just like, whatever, zombies, I'm not worried about them. And everything else I shut down, except for I forgot to dispel his Curse of Years that's already on the guys, and it kills off pretty much all of them except for 3 guys. What the hell? So now that whole unit of goblins that I was thinking was going to for sure kill off that necromancer is totally in danger of just dying and getting wiped out right now. Over here it's his Shooting Phase. His Banshee goes ahead and nags one of my trolls to death, and I can't do anything about it. And then we're going to Close Combat. Close Combat is necromancer kills off 1 goblin, and the goblins fail to wound him, and causes them to run in panic, and they run off the board, and his guy is going to go ahead and chase them. As for my fight up there with the Ragnarok, he can't wound the Hex Wraiths, and the Hex Wraiths decide to put 3 wounds onto my Ragnarok. My Ragnarok is stubborn, and he's in 18-inch bubble of Gorbad, which means that he gets leadership 10, which means I can't even run away with him and try to escape them. So he's stuck there. And then Close Combat over here, his Wraiths hit the Trolls and do 1 damage to the Trolls, and they're flaming attacks apparently too, so I can't even stop that. Over here, his Hex Wraiths are killing off my Goblins. He kills off 4 Goblins, and I go ahead and do a Combat Reform to get more ranks, hopefully to do Combat Resolution. They stick because they're steadfast, and I'm pretty much going to stay there for this turn. We're going to go into Orcs and Goblins turn 3 now, and let's see what I could change up here. I'm going to go ahead and do this Goblin Wolf Rider charge into the rear flank of the Hex Wraiths, hopefully to just get some more combat resolution points and keep my Ragnarok live for another turn. The Fanatic decides to just swirl around and get closer. Looks like he's about to hit all my guys, and I'm just like, oh crap, here we go. Over here, I want to charge Gorbad out of the unit of Boar Boys and hit these Wraiths head on with his magic axe, always striking first, and kill them off. Kill off that whole unit, I believe. And my opponent was like, hey, don't you gotta do Animosity? I'm like, yeah, I do. And I do Animosity, and Gorbad fails Animosity. Force charges into the closest next visible unit, which is those stupid zombies he just put up. Ah, this sucks so bad. I could have saved my trolls, but I couldn't. Oh man. And those zombies are in the trees too, so if I get an overrun, I'm gonna take some dangerous terrain. Oh man. And yeah, this just shows you these guys ran off the board. Um, magic phase, I get 9 power dice. Yay! I finally get a decent magic phase. I throw 6 onto the foot. I get double sixes, and I'm gonna go ahead and smash that corpse cart because that corpse, or not the corpse cart, the mortis engine, because it's giving everybody a regen. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it this way, try to hit his general and the cart, and it hits him, and it kills off 4 skeletons. It puts a wound onto the general, and I believe it does like a wound to the engine as well. And then I roll 4, 5, or 6 to do it again, and I get a 1, which means he gets to take my foot and put it on my guys. And he, sure enough, he does, and it drifts this way towards the boar boys, and it actually just clips one guy, and I lose 1 boar boy. So it could have been so much worse, but I'm glad it did what it did. As for the miscast, big old bubble. I get the large template. It blows up, and it kills off another boar boy and 4 more savages. Oh man! And it also wounds one of his wraiths that was just in range. I'm gonna go to my shooting phase. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my Doom Diver, and since he does his magic spells, every time he gets a successful magic spell, anybody who took a wound on the previous turns or whatever gets to regen 1 health back. So his corpse card has 2 wounds now instead of 1 that I left it on. I'm going to shoot my Doom Divers at it though, and I nail that thing. I'm just going to get rid of it so he loses his always strikes first bubbles, which, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I really need to take out that engine though. I really need to take out that whole block of frickin' skeletons is what it is. Close combat time. Gorbad and the boys, they decide to just wipe out this whole unit of zombies. He's like, oh, I'm going to regen. I was like, psh, I got a flaming banner, dude. And he's like, oh, you dirty bastard. So I'm going to go ahead and run. I'm going to overrun. And the reason why I was going to overrun, even though I'm going to take dangerous terrain instead of restraining before the forest, is because I'm trying to get Gorbad into a fight with those hex rates and save my Arachnarok. I get 2 boar boys dead. One of them's the champion. He dies. And the other guy dies from the dangerous terrain. And then over here, his hex rates kill off my wolf rider that went in the rear, and then they're going to go ahead and put another wound onto their Ragnarok spider. And I'm like, I'm coming, buddy. I'm going to save you. And he won combat resolution, but I stick. Over here, they kill off 1 more of my trolls and causes me to actually run away. And I run literally into the building, and they catch me and kill me anyways, so it didn't really matter. Over here, his hex rates go ahead and kill off 6 of my night goblins, including the horse. Kicked 1 in the face, and they wipe them off and make them run off the board. And now my Doom Divers are both exposed to stupid ethereal horses. Vampire counts turn 3. He charges, and it's a huge charge range too. But he charges my boar boys, and he connects. Means I can't get Gorbad to the hex rates to save my Arachnarok. Come on, man. I'm just having horrible luck here. The hex rates just kind of wheel around because they ran off the board. They're going to come back onto the board right there. And then his unit of zombies over here just kind of stumbles forward. And his Coven Throw, Mortis Engine, whatever it is, just kind of stumbles forward. His Grave Guard leave the building, leave the church. They realize that they don't belong in church. But the Banshee decides to go into church so she can nag out the window like an old lady. And that goes for that. He gets Magic Phase, and of course he gets 11 power dice. Come on, man. He does Gaze of Nagash, and onto, I believe, the savages over here. He kills 4 of them with that. Oh, man. He gets a bunch of 6s there. Oh, I'm sorry. He rolled a miscast. He got 3 6s, and what he did get was the power drain, which means he loses 2 spells, which he lost that one, and I believe it was one of the cursed years he had. If not, it was something else. I forgot. But he lost 2 spells. So, shooting phase, his Banshee goes ahead and nags out the window and kills 1 of my savages, like I said. And then that was about it. He's going into close combat. Close combat, his skeletons are going to go ahead and fight Gorbad and the boys. Gorbad makes way, and he kills off 4 skeletons with his always strikes first and his magic axe. I cannot hit his general. His general is literally out of range. So I I win combat. I think he might have killed one guy of mine. I don't think so though. Maybe. Um, yeah, he killed one of mine, but I combat. No, 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 no. He didn't kill one of mine. I still have a full 5 in the front, but I combat reform, and I'm gonna face them. I have a banner, a BSB, and not only that, I killed 4 of his guys. I mean, I took out his ranks and his banner, and we're gonna sit there for another turn and see what happens. Um, Orcs and Goblins, turn 4. Forgot to mention he threw up another raised dead and he got a couple more zombies and I let it through. But basically my savages go ahead and charge into those 10 zombies right there, which is going to just be easily eaten. Over here the fanatic just keeps moving around. He kind of escapes killing my Arachnarok, who has just like 1 wound to live. And then sure enough, connect right here. My Goblin Shaman on the wolf, he runs past the Coven Throne, hopefully to throw up some units on this side. And then Magic Phase, I get 7, which, wow, I got an average roll. The Goblin Shaman decides to throw, like, I think like a dice or 2 onto some skeletons, and he raises 10 skeletons with light armor into the flank of that skeletons. Hopefully, again, get some combat resolution, start knocking out these ranks of skeletons. He has these 70-something remaining skeletons. I throw the rest of the dice onto the foot of Gork, and I get double 6s again. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to kill off this this throne right here, just basically because like right now Gorbad's in combat with the other skeletons, and what am I gonna kill? Some zombies. I really needed to kill the hex rates, but I didn't have any hex rates that were close enough for me to actually get. They're still by my Doom Divers. I go ahead and try to stomp on this Coven Throne. It drifts and it misses. Go ahead and do a 4, 5, or 6. I get it again and it drifts and it misses again. I go for a 4, 5, or 6. I get it again and it drifts and it misses. I can't believe this. I miss all these times, and I get a 2, and Gork gets bored and walks away. So my Doom Divers are in danger to dying, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot some heavy armored units just for the hell of it, and I'm gonna shoot these Black Knights over here. First one gets a direct hit. Second one drifts off and comes back and kills off a couple more. So the first one hits and kills 4. The second one kills 3, which is pretty good. These guys, they killed their close combat, their zombies, and they're going to overrun and charge, and they miss connecting into that unit over there, but that's what it is. As for close combat with Gorbad and the boys, they go ahead and they kill off a ton of skeletons. It looks like they killed off probably like 9 skeletons here, and including the skeletons actually killed off 2 of my boar boys, and again I still have a banner, BSB. I did so many wounds, so he's gonna crumble and he loses like another like 6 more or something like that. I forgot what the numbers were totally, but he loses a couple more skeletons. Over here the hex rates finally kill off my Arachnarok spider. That sucks. And then that's going to start off his turn. Vampire counts turn 4. He's going to go ahead and start off and charge into my first Doom Diver over here. And then his other hex rates are going to go ahead and they turn and face, like, I believe either the skeletons or Gorbad themselves. He goes ahead and he rolls the 2 dice for the Coven Throne for that regen bubble or whatever it is. And it kills off 1 skeleton. And it doesn't touch the savages. He goes ahead and charges the Coven Throne into the savages, and I'm sorry if it's a Mortis Engine or Coven Throne. I forget which one's which. I confuse them all the time. But he connects in, and he's going to get some impact hits there. His 3 guys that were in the church exited out the back of the church, and then over here his hex rates ran through my skeletons, and they burned 4 of them, going through them with their soul move. I don't know why. My skeletons had no souls, but whatever. They stole their souls. The Black Knights, or the Grave Guard, they go ahead and just kind of stumble this way with their pitiful 4 inches. Magic Phase, he gets 9 power dice again. He gets something nice, and first thing he does is an Invocation in the heck with 1 dice, and I just have to let it through. So he regens some skeletons. He tries to do he does Hellish Vigor, and it gets off. I try to stop it, but his roll beat my roll, and which basically means they get to re-roll their 2 wounds in combat. And then he does Curse of Years, which I should have stopped this spell, but I couldn't, and it kills off 2 of my savages. For close combat, his hex rates just destroyed my Doom Diver over here, and they're running towards my other Doom Diver. As for this close combat over here, Gorbad kills off 4 of them. They kill off one of my boar boys, and I'm just kind of stuck like that. Again, I won combat resolution by like 1 or 2 maybe, and he just crumbles like 1 or 2, which is not enough. But he's starting to try to direct all his attacks onto Gorbad, and he can't wound Gorbad. Gorbad has a 3-up armor save and a high toughness, so he kind of needs 6s to wound, and if he does wound, I got a 3-up armor save saving Gorbad's life. Orcs and Goblins, turn 5, and sure enough, I finally get to charge in the side flank here with the skeletons, and pretty much everybody else is kind of in combat. I still have the wolf goblin shaman just kind of chilling in the back over there, ready to throw up some dark riders or some more skeletons. My magic phase to get 7 power dice, which is again average, and I use 4 dice to destroy Curse of Years. I could have done like a foot onto the zombies. I should have done it onto those hex rates right there. I didn't even look at it, but it is what it is. I throw up my own Dark Riders because I just figured really couldn't do much with my Orc Shaman that was stuck in combat. So I throw up my own set of hex rates to take out his set of hex rates. But I pop them out right there. My remaining Doom Diver shoots at the Black Knights again, kills off. Actually, I'm sorry, he doesn't kill anybody. He drifts 10 inches the wrong way and flies far off to the trees. Close combat. We're gonna have Gorbad kill off like 4 more skeletons, and then the boar boy actually just kind of whiffs. And over here, my savages, they only needed to do 1 wound, just 1 onto the Coven Throne Mortis Engine combo, and they do, and they blow it up. And when he blows up, I mean he blows up. I didn't even know that. He kills off 3 zombies, kills off 5 Savage Orcs, and he kills off that unit of Banshees and Wraiths that were sitting behind at the church. And he kills off some skeletons too. He killed off like a whole area around him. Man, that's pretty funny. He killed off 6 skeletons, which is good. It's dwindling my numbers here. And basically that was it, I believe. We're going to start off Vampire turn 5. He goes ahead and charges into the second Doom Diver, which now that guy's kind of SOL. I didn't know he was going to do this, but he just ran right through my my Wolf Shaman, and he does his little flaming Soul Stealer move, and he kills off my Wolf Shaman. So I can't call up more hex rates or more skeletons, which I was hoping to get combat resolution with those guys. As for his magic phase, of course, he gets 9 power dice again. He goes ahead and starts off with Invocation of Heck and rebuilds some of his troops over here. And again, I couldn't stop it. And then he throws Hellish Vigor back up onto these guys here. He goes ahead and does Gaze and a Gash, and it kills off 3 of my savages. And I'm trying to stop his magic, but I really got nothing. I think I used it all in the beginning. He does Curse of Years, and I believe that one nope, he got it off, but it didn't kill anybody in this unit. As for close combat, he decides to go kill 3 of the skeletons. My skeletons attack back. He kills off 1 of my boar boys, and I believe I killed off a couple of his skeletons. And I actually lost combat resolution on that one, but Gorbad sticks. Doesn't run away. He's his own BSB, and he didn't lose that bad, so he just re-rolls his failed leadership test, and he goes again. We're going to go ahead and go into Orcs and Goblins turn 6 now. This is a long and drawn-out game, but at the same time, I'm thinking that I still might have a chance somehow. I go ahead and do a long charge here with my hex rates into the rear of the skeletons, and they connect. And then my savages go ahead and they charge this unit of zombies over here, and they connect as well. Magic phase, I get 9 power dice, and again, I probably should have just killed those hex rates that he had with the Foot of Gork. I don't know why I'm not doing this, and I will never repeat this mistake again. But basically, I'm stuck in close combat. I really don't have any good spells to use. They're going to go into close combat right now, wipe out those skeletons, and that was that. And they overrun, trying to hopefully chaff up some hex rates. I don't know what they were going to plan on doing there. But they're savages. They're just going to overrun anyways. Vampires turn 6. Oh my god, he's going to go ahead and charge into the rear of Gorbad. These guys go ahead and charge into my savages, of course. And then, as you can see, Gorbad is kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place, but he has a magic weapon. He's fine. These guys go ahead and move up just a little bit. And I believe his magic phase, he got 5 power dice. First magic phase, he actually got low dice, and he does like Hellish Vigor again onto the same unit. And I mean, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. It's at the end. We're just trying to like see what happens. Actually, he throws the Hellish Vigor onto the Hex Wraiths, not onto the skeletons. He's hoping to wound Gorbad for sure and kill him off. Over here, he kills off 2 of my savages. Actually, I think that's actually the Curse of Years that killed those 2 guys. But his Hex Wraiths end up finishing off the unit and then chasing them down and killing them off anyways. Let's go into the close combat over here. Gorbad kills 3 of the Hex Wraiths with his magic weapon. I wish I could have killed all 5 of them. Son of a bitches. And then my Hex Wraiths kill off 3 of his skeletons, and he can't kill the skeletons. He can't kill the Hex Wraiths with his skeletons, and we force a huge crumble here. Basically his Hex Wraiths die and a good chunk of his skeletons die, but guess what? It was turn 6 already. Ah, man, honestly, my only living member of the Orcs and Goblins army is Gorbad. And you know what? I know I put up all these videos with Gorbad as my general, and I've actually got a couple comments on Facebook, people asking, or even on YouTube asking, why do I put Gorbad in my army? And guess what? Right now, Gorbad just proved why I put him in the army. He's been sitting there since like turn 3 or turn 2 with his magic weapon, and nobody's touched him. He has not 1 wound on him. He literally, I mean, if you look at it, there's only 2 rows left of skeletons. He's literally mowed through about 50 skeletons between him and his boar boys. Oh man, I mean, it was getting down to like the last few. If I had some assistance, if the Ragnarok would have got in, he would have just destroyed those skeletons. But the Ragnarok didn't, and honestly, my biggest mistake was just not taking one of those goblin heroes with the magic weapon to help out the Ragnarok. 1 goblin hero charging into the flank, attacking the Hex Wraiths would have killed off the Hex Wraiths. 1 goblin hero with the magic weapon could have probably just saved the trolls. But, you know, the failed animosity didn't help with Gorbad. He charged into the wrong unit. And then, I mean, there's just a bunch of things, but overall, CJ played a very smart and tactical game. He still had a healthy unit of Graveguard behind me still coming up. And, I mean, he took out every one of my units. I mean, he still had 2 level 4s on the table. Actually, one's like a level 2 now because he got the power drain, but he still had 2 healthy wizards on the table, and he basically wiped out the rest of what I had. And it just makes me, I don't know, I could have done a couple things different. I could have put the foot in some spots. I'm actually a little bit more hesitant on just spamming the foot, though, because every time I throw 6 dice onto the foot, it's usually a waste of my other dice, so I figured I'd try to play a little bit smarter with my dice. Yeah, I mean, I could have done something different with the Mangler at the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of things I could have done differently. But overall, I had a fun game, and it was a real nail biter. I really didn't think I was going to lose as bad as I did until like literally the last round. But at the same time, I was just hoping I could just keep nailing that whole unit of skeletons to kill them off. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, of course, and I enjoyed playing the game. If you guys like the video, just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be putting up more videos very soon. I have another fight against another vampire army character coming up very soon, and I will be putting that one up probably after the weekend. Also, I'm playing quite a couple games this weekend, so I'll have those ready for you guys very soon. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace.